And we are live. The first Super 8 match between USA and South Africa turned out to be quite a thrilling game. I mean, if you look at it, 18 runs, that's the margin by which USA have lost to South Africa. A spirited effort from the United States of America team with Andres Goss, Harmeet Singh sharing a brilliant partnership, Saurabh Netrawalkar at the start, 4 wickets. Give that man an IPL contract already, folks. But South Africa, in the middle, if you look at it, had a stutter, but then some valuable contributions, plus their big game experience, has ensured that they now have gotten their Super 8 campaign off to a great start. And let me add, it continues the trend of South Africa registering close wins in the ICC T20 World Cup 2024. They had won against Bangladesh by a small margin. They won against Nepal by a small margin. Now against the USA, it was by just 18 runs. Let me just tell you, they just survived by the skin of their teeth. So I'm joined by Shashwat and Harshit. And Harshit, what a game.
Siddharth, just to one thing you said give the man an IPL contract. I just think he'll have to first check with Oracle if he'll get a 2-month off.
No. I was actually about to start with this fact. I remember actually asking Nikhil sir before the India versus USA game that what are the plans of the USA players after such a performance? Are they going to actually quit their job and start playing cricket because they're going to get IPL contracts and all of that? Now I don't know about other USA players, but about Saurabh Netrawalkar, I'm pretty sure he isn't returning back to that job, and a big loss for Oracle.
Oops.
Wow.
I think we lost Shashwat here. Yeah.
No. I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go on.
But a big gain for cricket overall because one team is definitely going to get a really quality bowler in them, and not just that. South Africa. I was just checking the score before actually tuning into the game when I was on my way back home. I was thinking about this fact like this could be the first game South Africa could convincingly end up winning. But as soon as I reached home, I saw that the Tabraiz Shamsi over where he got hit for 3 sixes, and then I realized I think I just pulled the trigger way too soon, and it had gone down to the wire, 2 overs, 28 runs. Then I think Rabada came with an over of just 1 run, if I'm not wrong, the 19th over, where he absolutely pulled things back, and the little bit scare that there was for South Africa that ended in that over.
No, I mean, let us give credit to USA. Okay, they have shown that they were the second best team in Group A. I mean, had it not been for that one dropped catch by Netrawalkar against India, and also the fact that they had handed a 5-run penalty, USA would have really run India very, very close. And
in fact, Siddharth, if it weren't for those 5 runs, forget the catch. Because Surya, they've done well to have Surya operated a striker of just about, in the range of 90 to about 110. Those 5 runs were the key in that India match. That those 5 runs were the ones was that one moment that broke the shackles for the Indian team because the boundaries had dried up. There were runs coming just about a run of ball, but the asking run rate had gone beyond 7.
So that is why, absolutely. So today it was like South Africa facing up to another South African who could hurt them. Andres Goss, remember, is a South Africa guy, has played, if I'm not mistaken, for Joburg, if I'm not mistaken, in the SA20. Now he started the onslaught, and boy, oh boy, we thought it would be Vandermerwe all over again in 2022 when he took that catch to dump his former side out. But in the end, South Africa held their nerve. There was a combination of Kagiso Rabada bowling a wonderful 19th over. He and Nortje, if they are in form, just as Delhi Capitals, they really ensure that the team gets through at a very crucial time. And if you have to look at the South Africa batting, I mean, they kind of underwhelmed after a great start. 100 for 3 in 10 overs, you would have felt they should have gone well past 200. In fact, they just managed 194 with Netrawalkar going to be the best bowler in that day. After this, what happened was that the start that they got, it was a good start, but then in the middle overs, that loss of momentum derailed USA. And that's why Andres Goss, credit to him, he kept the fight going. But it was a missed opportunity. And if USA plays more such teams on a regular basis, I'm pretty much sure that they will do well. Yes, tougher conditions, but they will do well. And you have to rue that fact that yes, they just couldn't get win. I mean, let me look at the scorecard at this point in time, which is open. They were 71, 76 for 5, and they had a partnership of 90, if you have to look at it, 189 runs in just 7 overs. That was the thing. Harmeet Singh and Andres Goss ensured that they really got them into the thing. And let me give you a brief thing about Andres Goss. He plays for the Joburg Giants, Washington Freedom, Morrisville Unity, Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, and he plays for the Knights. That is the biography of Andres Goss at this point in time. So they will rue that bad start, 9.3 overs, 76 for 5, and then that partnership of 89, 90, if you have to look at it, in for 7 overs. It was catch up all the way. And teams like South Africa sometimes don't give you that leeway. This time it unfortunately happened.
But
so,
Siddharth, in everything that we've seen from South Africa till now, yes, as you rightly mentioned, there was a 1-run victory. There was another close victory that they had. That's to say, yes, they've been run close a few times. But I'll tell you what, 18 runs today is actually, in T20 cricket, you take that as a decent margin. That's number one. You knew that there were only a couple of batters in that USA lineup that could really trouble the South Africans. Goas, yes, he did his bit today, and Aaron Jones, I don't think he ended up with a lot of runs today. But there were only a couple of batters who really posed a big threat to the Proteas today, and they knew it, that if those couple of wickets once they were bagged, then the game is theirs to be won. Yes, it was an unusual day for an unusually hard day at work for Marco Jansen. I think conceding over 10 runs and over. But
Yep.
besides that, if you see, given the margin that they had, that's to say, what I'm trying to say here is that they were always ahead. That's one thing you will have to give South Africa. They were always ahead in the game. That's not to say that they didn't have a scare. Yes, they did when they had that stand, 90-run odd stand that you were talking about. But besides that, or withstanding that, I would say, they were still ahead of the match. And what this does is this win gives them confidence. Remember, they too, much like India, they played on a tricky New York surface as well. So it is a bit of a transition for these batters too. Remember what Hendrik Klaasen had said, that batting in New York felt like batting in the middle overs of a one-day international. So it's been a bit of a tweak for them as well. It's been a change for the South African batters as well. And today you could clearly see the way that Quinton de Kock was batting. So better surface, and this 18-run victory margin, what this does is it gives them confidence. After them eking out results in the group stage, a couple of them in fact, it's the kind of win it's the kind of win that gives them confidence, is what I'll say. Because USA, you will have to look at USA very differently now, because it's the same side that had run India close as well. It's the same side that beat Pakistan, and deservedly, like Mayank Madan and so many others have pointed out, they're deservedly the second best team from Group A. So you have to, it just because it's USA, you can't say that maybe the victory margin should have been more, and this 18-run win is actually not a good enough margin for South Africa. I think USA have turned out to be a much better team than any of us, for that matter, expected them to be. That's number one. Number two, 18 runs against a spirited USA side is a good victory margin, I would say.
And also, I feel that the main person who was actually the only known face in this USA side was a Corey Anderson, and he's the only one who hasn't really stepped up till now, neither with the ball nor the bat till now. And an exceptional day for Harpreet Singh also, because he ended up with figures of 24 for 2, if I'm not wrong, in his 4 overs, and he almost took. I know, like Harshit sir mentioned, that 18 run is quite a big margin. But that's when we see on the scorecard. But the onslaught that somebody like a Harpreet Singh and Gauss had in the middle overs, it almost looked like we would have seen South Africa panic even if one boundary would have come in that Rabada over also. So definitely, I remember that you, Sidvi sir, mentioned this a lot of times, that USA would be a team that people would forget as soon as this World Cup is over. And I kind of did agree with you till a point that such teams come and go. People do talk about them during the World Cup only, be it Ireland when they actually beat England in the a few years back. They had a short span, but I think this USA side has actually shown that they are here to stay, and this is a really good thing for cricket because it's not that one performance or just one game when they have actually come out and scored well. It's again and again they have actually performed as a team.
Yeah, Rakshit.
Well, I just want to say that, while all of us, and I agree with Sasha that share the same sentiment like him, that, USA are a team to stay. It's all good to the ears. But, when you take the fan inside you, when you take out the cricket fan inside you, when you try to just rationalize the whole situation, it may actually be harder than we think, than the cricket romantic in us feels that they're a team to stay here on the top, and they're a team that has a lot of potential. Just give them good competition, have them play more series, more competitive teams. But I'm just looking at it, let's say, from the point of view of how cricket operates at the moment. You look at it, the ICC FTP is already out. Which teams are playing against which nations for the next year and a half now, because you're already about 6 months into the new FTP. So there is no more cricket that gets played. Let's say the giants like India, Australia, England, their calendars are so cramped, they don't get to play a US because time will not allow them to. So in such a scenario, what do teams like USA do? They'll end up
No,
again playing the likes of Zimbabwe. They will end up again playing Ireland,
Bangladesh.
Hong Kong. This is exactly what their
yeah,
trajectory
yeah,
is
I
now.
do. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's going to be the hurdle now. That's
No,
going to
no,
be
yeah, yeah,
now.
that's
How does
definitely going to be
ICC?
the hurdle.
ICC cannot pull up boards individually and say, "Listen, we see potential in the USA, and you have to play against them
No, no,
because
no. Yeah,
this is
yeah,
a
yeah.
market we have to tap into. This is a team that we really, are backing over here. They have potential." BCCI, ECV, Cricket Australia could say, "Bro, listen, we've got our priorities sorted as well. We've got the 100, we've got the BBL, we've got the IPL, we've got other bilateral, engagements as well. We really cannot have time to promote cricket just because you have a feeling that it could be good for the game." They're in no sort of a situation, let's say, to be
No, no.
able
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
strike that
You.
or put that sort of pressure on board. So it's going to be difficult, is what I'm saying. While we would all want there to be one more team and cricket to become as competitive as some of the other sports are, so that it actually starts feeling like an Olympic sport, but for that to be achieved, I think it's going to take time. It's going to take so much more, and yeah, and maybe only then can the wish of us as cricket fans be probably granted of there being a USA play right at the top.
And
Yeah,
and there
I
are
totally
more
do agree with
problems,
your point,
Shashwat.
and I also do understand with that with your point that that big teams like India, Australia, England, even for that matter, West Indies or Pakistan, these teams might not end up playing with them. But when I say that they are here to stay and they have actually arrived, I don't mean the longer formats. I don't mean by ODIs and tests. What I mean is T20 cricket. And T20 cricket, I think how their skill will improve from here on is because now these individual players, I feel the leagues you're talking about, be it BBL, be it the Big Bash, be it the 100, be it the IPL, you are going to see a lot of the players from this USA side specifically play in these leagues. So, see, just an example of West Indies cricket also, they do not play a lot of T20 cricket as a team all throughout the year. They assemble just before the World Cup and they come and perform the way they do. So, if these players individually also start rubbing shoulders with senior players, with players they get to learn a lot from, when they will combine as a team the next time, that I think would be a much better USA side. And gradually and slowly, steadily, they will improve in this format, and then I know it would take a lot of years to actually become a good side in the ODIs, be it the tests also. But to start with, I think this is a really good start
See,
for them.
two things. This romanticism has existed for a very long time.
Hmm.
The same was spoken about Ireland. The same was spoken about the Netherlands,
Zimbabwe as well, Siddharth.
Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe began from 1983. But somewhere down the line, the infrastructure will ensure. And ironically, you mentioned the big teams. The big teams aren't the problem. You know what is the problem? Too many T20 leagues and the 100. When you don't have anything settled, when the international calendar is vacant, At that time, the various T20 leagues gathered up. Look at it, January, February. You got 4 T20 leagues potentially side by side. Okay, you got the BBL,
SA20.
SA20, ILT20, and BPL, Bangladesh Premier League. Okay, after that you have the PSL. Then 3 months you have the IPL. Then you have the 100. Then you have the CPL. Where on earth, unless USA's current lot get to play a lot of franchisee cricket, and then that ensures they get in that spread into the US. Because see, just on 3 venues alone, just by the infrastructure that they have, a USA team is far away from, okay, they made it to 2026. But what after? In the FTP, there is no place for them. Even established test nations like Zimbabwe, Ireland, and Afghanistan have no proper space in the FTP calendar because those 3 are out of the World Test Championship cycle. ODI, they have to qualify. Then on top of that, T20, they have to go through the grind. So how on earth? See, this is a good start. This is a good start, but then the romanticism has to be curbed. And that is why, if you look at it, this one comment that I have, once Jen, I think it was once Jen, yeah, he says, USA will become a top 8 side in the next 4 years because of MLC and immigration. Okay, immigration will continue, but how many local USA guys will take up the game of cricket? Not software guys like Saurav Netrawalkar or expats like Harmeet Singh, Corey Anderson. Local USA guys who are not interested in baseball. What will come to cricket?
But Shidvi sir, isn't that a very long process, and that is something that would generationally and with time change? It would be like a new era, and that will only happen. I feel the base for that, how that base would be strong to actually spread the game in the USA would only be once their team starts doing well. They beat Pakistan. They are doing well if they end up doing well in the Super 8s, they end up beating a team. I think cricket gradually, slowly and gradually, 4 years, I don't know if I do agree with that fact that in the next 4 years it will become the top 8 team. But yeah, in the time to come, I definitely see. And the immigration part, I really I do agree with that fact that now a lot of players from India and Asian countries, especially I feel, have already actually, when the MLC actually came in, we saw an Unmukh Chand especially go there so that he can play from there. So we would see a lot of that also. Now, and the competition would increase there, the quality of the cricket would get better there. And as soon as I feel, even if they play leagues with players, somebody like a Saurav Netrawalkar himself or Aaron Jones, if these players end up playing with just imagine a Saurav Netrawalkar in an RCB side where you have Virat Kohli, you have other Faf du Plessis.
Why you want to kill that guy's career, yaar? Already
so I just took the name of the RCB side because they have big names.
Link him with MI, link him with the CSK, link him with the KKR.
No, but there's no bigger name than Virat Kohli, right?
I think the first point that Mayank Madan says, I think that will help USA cricket because Netrawalkar and Harmeet will grab a nice IPL contract in 2026 and other major leagues. Then and only then, I think USA will get the necessary boost and it will trickle down from this generation.
He also added that Pakistan will be the same in 2026.
Because they will not be playing. And that transition that Pakistan is looking at, I'm sorry, it's looking very bleak for them at this point in time. So, freaking awesome is like saying USA haven't played like a minnow at all. Absolutely not. I think they have given most teams a run for their money. When SA were batting, many big shots were muscled. USA batters, big shots were clean most of the time. Aaron Jones' dismissal was a difference. Yes, the guy who's been the leading run getter for the US this time, he fell very cheaply. So, missed opportunity for the US, but remember, this group is the toughest. South Africa, West Indies, England, USA. If USA can pull off a surprise in the remaining 2 games, man, oh man.
Yeah, I just hope I just hope that, for a team that's shown so much promise, it's won so many hearts, they don't just get brushed aside in the Super 8s. That's the last thing you want to see, that them lose probably all their fixtures as many would expect. But I hope there's a surprise there for all of us, for everything that they did in the group stage, playing India, the way that they did, playing against Pakistan, winning that match as well, today as well, an impressive show. I hope that they get rewarded for it. And in turn, of course, that makes things interesting in that particular group as well.
Absolutely. So, this is the start of the Super 8s, but in the morning game, That's a huge one.
Just
West
a few hours
Indies
from
versus
now.
England. Yeah,
Just a few hours.
just a few hours. 6 a.m. is West Indies versus England. Remember, England have lost most of the time. They won only once against the West Indies in T20 World Cups, and that was last edition. 2021, that is. 2022, they didn't play. 2021, they lost in the last edition there. So, huge encounter coming up in the morning. But this game, South Africa have done what they could, beat USA by 18 runs. They will now have two tough games coming up against England and the West Indies. But tomorrow, there are two games more. We are looking at West Indies, England in the morning, followed by the big one, India versus Afghanistan from Barbados. You can check out all the latest inputs that has been given from Barbados by Nikhil. Do check that out. And from me, Shashwat and Harshit, it's good night. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. And tap that bell icon so when we go live. Bye-bye. Oops, Karthik K, before I just have to take this. Why should people abandon baseball to play cricket? Baseball is second most popular sport. Or they say Park players can move to US too. But I don't think Karthik K, it will have that same impact. I'm sorry. That is the problem. So that's all I have to say in this. So see you tomorrow morning for West Indies, England, and also for the India-Afghanistan game. Bye-bye.